but like that I have the capacity to love and that I have the capacity to hold space for other people and to show them love and to live this life where I'm trying to be a positive influence. Like, it's crazy to me because I feel like I should be angry all the time. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, I want to. I am angry sometimes when I really think about stuff. Like, I feel cheated. Like, yo, I could have been this person had I been nurtured or loved in this way, or if I would have had the support at that stage, that critical stage, at this point, and I didn't. And so now I'm like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm mad.
Yeah.
So I'm walking around with that, but at the same time, I'm hosting these mics and providing these spaces for other people, and they're coming in with their issues and their brokenness, and I'm like, nah, you could leave that all at the door because you're welcome here, and I need you to experience this, and I need you to feel this. But really, it's me just like actively practicing giving away the love that I want to receive or that I wished I had received. So like, that's what's keeping me afloat.
Hey, what's going on? This is Nick, back with the Life Recreated, and it's all about learning, healing, and growing. Got an exciting guest with me today, Mr. Q5. Q5.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
I'm in
yes,
the house.
Sir. Yeah. Hampton Roads, baby. Hampton Roads. So we're in here. And we're just going to dive into a conversation, man. I reached out to him just about, talking about, and this segment is really kind of focusing on, men and their healing journey and the things that they have experienced and that they're going through. And my hopes in this type of segment is to, just make that conversation more available. You know what I'm saying? To be able to say, okay, yeah, other men are dealing with these different things and they're going through those things and just making it available. So that's what we're going to jump into today, man.
Word.
Yeah. Yo, so let me start from are you originally from here?
Nah.
Where are you from originally?
New York, Long Island.
Long Island. Okay.
Was born in the Bronx, grew up in Amityville. Moved here when I was like 16, going on 17, or maybe 17.
Oh,
already.
wow. So you was like a teenager, like, yeah.
Yeah. Junior year of high school, I was heartbroken. Heartbroken. I was my junior year, I was like, I had the plans to be the man, and then I just got yanked out of the system. Like, I was like, yo, I'm about to go out for the play next year. I'm about to be in the musical. I'm about to be singing, doing my thing. I was in chorus, teachers, you know what I'm saying? I was cool. I wasn't like the popularist, but I was up on a list somewhere. I was in the top like 50 or 30 or something. Teachers loved me. I was good. You know what I'm saying? Then I just got yanked out the system and thrown in some new thing. But I've always been able to adapt and adjust. So it worked out, but
that's good. So 16, why come down to this area? Like, what was
my mom's? She wanted to move. The wild part was that one of her best friends, and her best friend had mad sons, and we all grew up together. Like, we would play at each other's houses and stuff. But she moved down here to Chesapeake, and she came down here to visit her and loved the area, and we literally got a house like in the neighborhood down the street from them.
Oh, really? Dang.
Yeah,
so it was like that. That's crazy.
It was like that. So
was it something where she was like, y'all were trying to get out of New York, or just?
I don't even know the story. I think she had a desire to leave probably, and the opportunity just presented itself around that time. But I was just like, yo, let me finish high school. Like, I was trying to find a way to like stay with my like brother and sister-in-law or like my cousin or something. Like, yo, let me finish here. Like, we already, like, I'm halfway through, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, it's not happening. So like, I just remember getting here and like walking through the threshold of my new house, which was like huge in comparison to where we lived in New York, but like walking through the door and like tear just dropped down my face, and she was like, what you crying for? And I was like, like, you know what I'm saying? It's not home, but it became home eventually. But that was, I just remember that
that's tough, man.
That Denzel glory tear coming out my eye. Like, are you serious? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly,
like, but it was an opportunity, so I had to take advantage.
But it's interesting about that. So I moved around a lot when I was growing up. Word. And so like I went to like 3 different elementary schools, 2 different middle schools, and 3 different high schools.
Sheesh.
Yeah, so I can imagine, like, did you basically grow up with
in
the
one
same
place? Yeah, in one place. So
place.
Like, I've known these kids, these same people, my friends, since we was like kindergarten, so 5-6 years old. I'm 16 going on 17 now. You just yanking me away from that. I was like, yo, come on, man. Let me just do these 2 years. I'll meet y'all up there. Like, I'm gonna come through afterwards.
They want to hear it.
Not having it.
How did that make you feel, like, towards your parents for that though? Were your mom and dad still together? Are they still
together? They're not together now. No.
Okay.
But but at the time, they were. I mean, they were together and things was moving. I was mad. I mean, you know, as much as you could be a teen and have that angst, had it all. I was like, yo, come on, man. And again, like I said, I knew I was like in my head in my junior year, I was gonna be the man. And it was wild because like she was trying to move us actually in the spring semester of my sophomore year. Like, but she ended up letting us finish the school year and then we moved in the fall.
During the summer, yeah.
So I was like, thank you for at least for that. But like right when she was trying to initially move us, you know what I'm saying? It was tryouts for the musical. You know what I'm saying? Musical was a big thing in our school, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it was the Wiz. And I was gonna go out for the Wiz, you know what I'm saying? And like I was like, I'm not gonna try it because we're supposed to be moving like any day now or something. And then last minute she was like, nah, we're not going out. I didn't try out. And like, yo, the Wiz, it was the Wiz, and the Wiz was white. It was this white kid. No offense to him. I don't remember his name.
Wiz.
But I definitely sang way better than him. And I was like, that could have been
me. Yeah.
So like I have like regrets to this day. Like I like wanna it burns me up. I'm like, yo, because I went and my best friend was the Scarecrow.
Right.
And he ate it up because he's a beast like that. He could sing his face off. Shout out to Carl. But I was like, the guy that played the Wiz was trash.
Yeah.
Sorry if anybody from my high school is watching this or hears this in the future. No disrespect to that guy. I don't know that man. No, I'm playing. I knew him at the time. I don't remember his name now. But you can't do the Wiz and the Wiz is white.
Yeah.
Come on, it's the Wiz. It's the Wiz and he lives in us. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, son.
They done messed it up. I had to direct the Wiz once.
See the connections, bro? Like you didn't even know what you was getting into when you invited me.
And that was the craziest play I ever had to direct. It was at the church that we were at. And I was like kind of like the drama team leader and stuff like that. And so I remember like doing, man, I mean, talk about, that's a lot of work.
A church production of the Wiz.
Yeah.
That's something else.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you could do that.
I didn't know you could
do that. A church production of the Wiz? Yo, you got video of that one?
Yeah, actually, I might have some. I'll see if I got it. Because we put in a lot of work for that.
This man said, crazy. When I think of home, I think of a place. Hallelujah.
Hey, but it was good though. Yo. I mean, it turned out good, man. It turned out good. Probably one of the best. I've like directed a couple plays there and
Slight
like
flex.
Christmas plays. Yeah.
Slight flex. I directed a couple plays. Just a little no big deal. You know what I'm saying? Just what I felt like doing on the Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
So, that's it, man. So look, so you moved down here, right? It's your sophomore year. Where'd you go to high school at out here?
Oscar Smith,
gotcha.
Tigers in the
They was known for football back then, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
still kind of. They fell off a little bit in the last like 2 or 3 years, but I feel like around the time I was in high school was like the building of it, and then like right after we all left, that's when they started like racking up championships and becoming like ranked. But like the groundwork was laid when we was there. You know what I'm saying? I didn't play, but I'm talking like I was on a team. You feel me? Like
there you go. That's it, man.
So yeah.
All right, that's cool, man. Yeah, because my wife, she's from the area. She went to where's she going?
Boo! It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter. No, I'm playing. So this man's like, yo, he's never invited back to the podcast.
Yeah, that's cool. So you graduate Oscar Smith. Then what do you do after? Because how old are you now?
36.
36. Okay.
Surprise.
There you go, man.
Older than I look. It doesn't crack.
Yeah, there you go.
I just turned 14 yesterday. No,
I just turned 40 last year.
Get out.
Yeah. So I'll be 41 this year, man. So
surprise.
It's true.
Looks like he's 26.
Exactly.
A tall 26-year-old.
That's it, man.
But I graduated from Smith. After Smith, did a little bit of college, didn't graduate. Went to Hampton. And didn't really know myself, but like was trying to make my way through the world. Did a scholarship with the Navy ROTC. Just trying to pay for school. Wasn't really my bag, but I was like, yo, I'm going to tough it out and just try to, you know what I mean? Because I know like not that I wasn't going to get that support, but kind of wasn't going to get the support from home, or they didn't have the ability to pay for college, let alone going to Hampton, private institution, blah, blah, blah. And the program ended up just not being for me, and it kind of drove me into a depression. Flunked out, basically, all kinds of stuff. It's a long story, but long story short, like I didn't graduate from college. I did do like 1 year at night at Norfolk State, and like I just never went back. So like I'm out here just making the most out of life with no degree, but
saying like that, a lot of people, I mean, yeah. I think that, like we, especially in our culture, in our society now, bro, I don't think that like what you can learn outside of like formal education.
I got real life experience.
That's what I'm saying. No, but it's real though. Yeah. Like, cause like cause my story was kind of similar. When I graduated high school, I went to community college for like a year, and I was like, yo, I can't do it no more. Like, these people are telling me, like, it didn't make any sense to me. So then I was like, all right, well, I'm joining the military. So I went to the military, and I just finished my degree in 2018 just because like they were paying for me to go to school. So it's I think in our society, man, I don't know, man. I don't get
There's a lot of emphasis on going to college, but like I think you like when you like after you kind of do it, if you go to school a little bit and then you out, you like, it's kind of a scam.
Yeah.
I said that kind of like trying to play it off like little. It's kind of a scam. But like, yeah, like, yo, you could learn a trade and probably make more sometimes, or just learning a trade, or finding like your thing that you're passionate about and finding a way to work that angle. Like, I mean, more power to the people that get their degrees and everything, but like school isn't for everybody. And that's not even to say it wasn't for me. I thought it was. I was extremely intelligent, you know what I'm saying, as a young warthog. And like I mean, like I graduated like top 30 in my class, all of that, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it's definitely a different look when you're in college. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're like, yo, read chapter 1, and they don't tell you chapter 1 is like 50 pages. You know what I'm saying? Exactly, and that doing homework is going to be like 4 hours.
4 hours, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, it's going to be like an hour and a half with each subject, like that you have homework in and all that. But, and that also that like girls in college are going to get their work done. Like, you think it's all fun and games, but they're getting their work done. You out here trying to like be the cool guy, but like they're getting their work done. So you need to focus. Like, if I had to tell a young me or a young guy right now, like, yo, get your work done, play later. Like, the girls and all the fun stuff will be there. Like, because they're getting their work done and they're still doing fun stuff. But like, guys, we don't be focused. But I'm getting off on a tangent. But it's just, you know what I mean? Like, it was just a different experience. But I know better now. But I'm also like not necessarily in that space. Like, oh, I want to go back to school now. Like, I should, but you know, I'm trying to make some stuff, make my way.
Gotcha.
In my own way. Like, I knew I was like, when I left that program, I was like, I was saying to myself while I was in the program, I'm gonna be a leader, but this isn't the way I'm about to lead. This isn't it.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I'm a leader in many other ways now. You know what I'm saying? Outside of being like, yes sir, no sir. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
Being suited up. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to anybody in the military. It was a great program. If you could hunch it, like, do it. And it's wild because all the cats I was in the program with, most of them did JROTC in high school, so they knew the vibes already. I was coming into it cold turkey, didn't know nothing. So I was.
It's a big learning curve.
Yeah, I was
especially when you're a little older like that.
Yeah, I was a bag of butt. You know what I'm saying? Keeping it clean, but like, I was a bag of butt in there. Like, and the homies was all coming from programs where they had JRTC and they was in it, so they was tight and together. And I was showing up. You know what I'm saying? Couple wrinkles in the uniform and like barely making it to, you know what I'm saying, call on time. I forget what they call it, but when you got to get up mad early. And we had like PT at like 5 a.m. and then you got an 8 a.m. class. You sleep in there because you ran 3 miles around the school and did, you know what I mean? So
it's a lot.
And I was trying to go to school for journalism, bro. Broadcast journalism, Scripps Howard School of Journalism at HU. Shout out to HU. Like, and they had me in there. I had to take their classes before I could even sign up for
regular classes.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm taking like the history of naval warfare, and we're studying like battleship movements from 1865. What does this have to do with my life right now? I just wanted to write. At the time, I was like, yo, I want to be a journalist. I want to write. I want to do the XYZ. So I couldn't see it. You know what I mean? But
it was that was the main thing that you wanted to do, was be a journalist?
At the time, you know what I'm saying? Like, I always
what inspired that?
I always gravitated towards like creative writing, you know what I'm saying, in English class. I was always killing it, you know what I'm saying, with like creative writing. Anything that, when they let us just do our thing, like I usually flourished at that. Like, I don't necessarily like critiques or boundaries, I found out, you know what I'm saying? Like, even like if you go back, like my 3rd grade report, I was like, Quinton does not like criticism. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never liked being pigeonholed or whatever. I just always wanted to do what I wanted to do. So it just hit a little different. But the wild part was just that, like, getting in that program, you kind of have to adhere to what they're teaching you. So
you gotta go by the
I
rules.
did feel, but I was interested, and I was like, you know what, I want to be the guy that does the evening news or something, because that was a thing. Like I remember my pops, like we used to watch the nightly news with Brian Jennings. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yeah, that could be me. I could do that. Like, good evening, I'm Quinton Jennings. It's Sherman. Welcome to ABC News. You know what I'm saying? I thought I was gonna be that guy, or some sort of writer for like for Vibe, or you know what I'm saying, the Source or something. And but I also am a procrastinator, so deadlines probably weren't really my thing, and that's probably a huge part of being a journalist.
Getting things on time.
Yeah.
So you don't think that you could still that could be something you can still pursue, or what?
I haven't been actively writing, at least in that way, like as far as like publication or like long form things in a long time. Um, so yeah, I'm rusty. I would definitely have to kind of get my writing back up to scratch. Not even to say I was that great at the time, but I think I had the vision for it, or like the aptitude to be taught how to get in those lanes. But it's possible maybe I could build something from just writing and speaking in my own voice and doing it now. But like as far as like having a formal training, probably not. But yeah, I could definitely probably think the stuff that I think of and write down sometimes is worthy to be heard or read.
Yeah.
But I also know that like if somebody has to edit it, like I'm gonna be mad because I'm like, yo, I said it the way I meant to say it. Like, only check it for grammatical stuff. Like, that's how I feel. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
Just check me for grammatical errors.
You think that goes back to the whole criticism thing, like not liking the criticism?
Probably, but you know what's wild? It's also like now being older, I'm like I'm open to criticism. I'm like, yo, because I want to get better. I want to be better at things. Yeah. But in the back of my mind, it's still like, nah, I said what I said. You know what I'm saying? But so it's always a process to kind of to learn and grow. But I'm in a space now where I want to learn and grow. So I'm like, yo, if you could teach me something, if you do it better than I could do it, give me the, you know what I'm saying, the ABC, so that I can walk through it and move accordingly and become greater from it.
Gotcha. So with that you just said, what do you think was a shift that caused you to start thinking like that? Because when we're younger, like you even mentioned before, like we feel like nobody can really correct us. Nobody can tell us like what we need to know. So then as you're getting older, to make a statement like that, like, okay, I'm in a space where if I need to be corrected, I need to be helped.
Yeah.
I'm willing and open to that. What do you think that shift was for you that happened?
One, I think is getting older.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, because you're 36 now, yeah.
All right, you didn't have to. You 40. What's up? Since you trying to be funny, you 40, bro.
I'm just
your whole 40 piece. Hey, just want to holler out my age, but it's cool. I'm 36. I wear that, but nah. You didn't know what you was getting into, and you invited me. Surprise. Nah, but I think just the wisdom that comes with getting older. One, you know what I'm saying, and then two, like realizing that you want better for yourself, and the only way to get that is to stop being so guarded or having that wall up to being criticized or to being corrected. I saw a meme today that was like it was like something like to the effect of like, to tell you the truth, like our moms were right, we just didn't like the tone of their voices, type thing, you know what I'm saying? So like it's that, like realizing that, like, okay, like what you were saying, I see it, you know what I'm saying? I just couldn't hear it at the time because I was young and dumb, or young and immature or whatnot. I definitely wasn't dumb. Pause. Definitely wasn't dumb, but I was extremely smart. I also feel like I was punished for my intelligence. But that's a whole side thing. Trauma. But yeah, like just growing and experiencing more life, you realize that like, yo, you can't go further by yourself. So you have to acquire knowledge from people that are wiser than you, and places and situations, and you have to start changing your perception towards how you look at things, you know what I'm saying? Like, as opposed to being like, oh my God, woe is me, this is happening to me, or as opposed to looking at it like, why is this happening, or what can I learn from this experience, and how can it make me better? You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like even though I don't necessarily outright think like that every time, all the time, but that's the kind of outlook I want to have to stuff, is more so like the solution based, or like the just the analytical, like what can I learn from this, how can I grow from this moment in this space, so that I could take what I know and use it to help the next person. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm definitely of the school of thought that nothing is happening to me for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm very open book with my life. Like I share 90% of what I'm going through in an effort to, one, process it, but two, help somebody in the process, because really a lot of us are dealing with a lot of the same things, but nobody talks about it because nobody's willing to expose themselves or be the person that's, you know what I'm saying, the guy that's out and about. You know what I mean? And I think in a lot of ways I'm willing to do that. There's some stuff I keep close to the chest, like just like super, 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 super. I won't even say super personal because I share super personal stuff, but just just certain things. I'm like, all right, like maybe my dating life or something. I keep that to myself. But like everything else, yo, I voted for such and such. I'm just all like, yo, I'm going through this. I was depressed, but like, who you dating? Nah, that's personal, bro. Don't ask me about that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. But that's just an example. So it's like, just wanting to be better. And I think the older I'm getting, the more I'm learning. Like, I can't just maneuver through the world and think that I could do it solo dolo and not need anybody, because we all need somebody. But I'm also like running off of the models that I was shown, you know what I'm saying, growing up and being adopted and all these XYZ things that happened, or, you know what I'm saying, that I saw that kind of modeled that, like, I don't need anybody, or that stoic, I don't want to say facade, because it's what, you know what I'm saying, just the chosen presentation. So
yeah. Or you think you got that from like your dad, or is it more?
Because
I know I got mine from my dad. My dad, I've only seen my dad cry twice.
Sheesh.
Twice.
And what were the two occasions?
Two occasions was the first one when we lost a house in foreclosure, and I remember him like walking through the door and like realizing like what was going on, because it was I was older. I was like 18 still at the house, and I remember the Broward Sheriff's. I grew up in Broward, like Fort Lauderdale area, so I remember the Broward Sheriff's office knocking on the door, and I thought I was getting in trouble, like, because I'm like, all right, dang, like I'm thinking in my head, like, what did I do? What is going on? Yada yada, because I was a knucklehead back then, and so this dude was serving us papers, like eviction papers, and this is first, like, now I'm 18 now, so I'm like, wait a second, I understand like what's going on, but nobody said anything about it, so it just hit us, and we were just like, yo, what do we do? So I remember just like throwing stuff in bags and like just crazy stuff, like loading up a U-Haul. And I remember my dad walking in, bro, and just being like, he like fell back up against the wall and just slid to the floor, bro. And
not to slide down the
wall.
wall.
Like slide down the wall.
It's
bro.
Real when the person slide down the wall. I'm trying
telling
to
you, man,
say this as cleanly as possible, but it's real.
It's real. Yeah, it's definitely real. And I remember him
down
crying,
the wall.
bro.
Sheesh.
I remember him crying and being like, dang. Like, it just, now looking back on it, like as a man now having a family, like I look at it and I'm like, yo, that's like it was. But what I can say about that is, just to add on it, it's also encouraging because I know where he's at now. Right. And I know the success that he's experiencing now. And I know that moment too. So just to see it, and he never gave up. That was the thing. Like, my pops never gave up, because that wasn't the only time. You know what I mean? There
so that instilled a bunch of lessons in you.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
One, I never want this to happen to me. Two,
for sure, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Two, like, yo, you could get up from this and still succeed and still, you know what I'm saying? So like,
and now, it's interesting saying that, though. It did end up happening to me. I lost my first house in foreclosure, kind of in the same way. And it was like, after having that experience, I was like, man, I sat back and I was like, dang, how did I allow especially seeing what I saw growing up. Like, I was like, I should have made better moves. I should have kind of thought this through a little bit. So it gave me a lot of wisdom. Even when I bought like my house here. Yeah. I was like,
this is a nice house, y'all. I ain't know all of it.
I was like,
I ain't seen all of it, but I saw most of it. This man is living.
Yeah. And I wasn't gonna pay market value for it, because I was like, man, if I get in that situation again, I don't want to be stuck. Like, I gotta have. So it taught me a lot of things, man. But that was the first time I seen him cry, and the second time was when I went to the Navy, and he was like, he didn't think I was for real leaving for the military, and I left, and he was just like, because he thought I was going straight to war, bro. It was right after 9/11.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So he is like, yo, these boys going to Iraq. So, but anyway, so I think that's where we get our toughness from. You know, is kind of seeing it modeled, and just being an issue.
Yeah, that having to rely on models, sometimes we don't always have the best models. You know what I mean? Like, so you kind of internalize things like without realizing it. I was very much so like, yo, I don't need anybody, because that's what I saw in my brother's model. But like, it was wild because again, I was adopted, and so when I look at it in hindsight, it was almost like a pattern where like when you hit that 17, 18, 19, 20-ish period, like there would be some kind of big fallout and then it'd be like, get out my house type thing. So I was seeing like the older siblings kicked out. And then when it came my time when I was around that age, I got kicked out. And like seeing us having to like seeing them having to fend for themselves in the world and like not feel welcomed or able to come home or whatever, like, all right, so I don't need you, I'm gonna do my own thing. Like when it happened to me, then I was like, I get it now. Like, but I was the little brother being like, I need my older brother, like where you at? But he had to maneuver and figure out how he was gonna move through the world. You know what I'm saying? So like when it came my time, like in hindsight now I can give him a little bit more grace, but I was angry at the time because my actual blood brother, like we were adopted together. You know what I'm saying? And we had other brothers as well, but you know what I'm saying? My actual brother, like we were adopted together. So like when he got kicked out, like it was a large gap of space, and there's like a 7 or 8 year age difference between us.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like 13. He was like, whatever, 7 years is that? He was 6 or 7 years. So he was like 19, 20 ish.
Yeah.
Probably 19. So I might have been 12 actually when it happened. So like because of that, there were large gaps in our history together where I wasn't in contact with him or I didn't see him or didn't hear from him because he was having to make it happen however he could.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Living in the streets or crashing at friends, whatever he was doing. And we just kind of like getting some of that time back now. And I got to do a better job of reaching out. You know what I'm saying? I tore him a new one about not calling me. You know what I'm saying? When I finally did get a good number from him, et cetera, et cetera. And now he kind of gets at me like, oh, so you can't call, da da da. And I'm like, you right. I deserve that because I've really got into him. But it's also me being the younger brother and being hurt and being like, you weren't there. Like I had to learn how to, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the thing is that you need from your big brother, like the, you know what I'm saying, the approval or the, I don't know, teach me how to shave, whatever it is, or asking questions about girls. Like he wasn't there. So I had to navigate those spaces as a teenager and then a young adult. So like when I do see him now or when I do talk to him, you know what I'm saying, it's always usually a long conversation of us like just talking about the past and like trying to process and like, you know, so always like a tear up conversation. And then like we, you know, we get hopeful about the future and like just trying to rebuild. But like we talk sporadically, so I got to do better with communicating with that. You know what I'm saying? But just very eye opening. You know what I mean? Like to share that space with him because I'm like a full grown adult now. You know what I'm saying? I'm 36. He's like 42, 43 or something now, and like even the last time I went home for during Super Bowl weekend to go to a Lupe concert that I had bought tickets for before the pandemic, and it just happened not this year, last year, because it kept getting delayed and pushed back. And I usually stay with a friend who lives in Brooklyn, but it was Valentine's Day weekend or something like that, as well as the Super Bowl. So he was with his fiance, who's now his wife. So he was like, yeah, I'm kind of not, you kind of can't come to the house. I was like, all right, bro. So I had to hit my brother, like, yo, I'm going to be in town this weekend. Can I crash? He was like, yo, what are you, crazy? Of course you could crash. You're my brother. Like, pull up on me. And then, like, it's always like when I see him, like, we have these, like, 8-hour conversations because we don't, like, I might call him once every 2 or 3 months or something. We talk for a little bit, but, like, when I actually physically see him, we just, like, talk. Talk. So I'll get there, like, at 4 and we'll talk to midnight. And then go to sleep, and then I wake up in the morning and talk a little bit, and then I'll bounce or whatever. And it's always like a little bit more healing every time. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So it hits a little different. So.
Yeah, and you know that's so important, dog. Like me and my brother, I only have one brother, and so we had a falling out for a while, bro. For like a good, it might have been a good like 7-8 years, like when I was in the church.
Yeah.
Like, cause I just like when I first got in there, I was a hothead, bro. I was like telling everybody they needed Jesus. Like I was like, yeah, everybody's going, and I was just like, wow.
Isn't it wild how like I gotta let you finish that though, but isn't it wild how like, cause when you said that, I thought about that, cause like, you know, people know me now as a host and like I MC and stuff, but like when I was like just getting on the scene, I was gung-ho like Christian rapper. Like I'm literally getting on the stage like
Oh,
giving honor to God. Yo, shout out to my pastor everywhere. Like I'm in the bars, the lounges, like, yo, praise God. Like
really, that's how you
going
was
hard. That's how I used
out?
to introduce myself,
Really?
bro. Like, yo, my pastor is Dr. James E. Jones. I go to Grace Fellowship. What up, what up, what up? You know what I'm saying? And like that evolution over time to where like I don't necessarily do that anymore, but like I demonstrate the love through what I'm doing and how I move, you know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, that gung-ho-ness at first, like you kind of be punching people in the face, and people don't need to be punched in the face with it. They just need to be shown an example.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah,
and that's how I played it with my brother, bro. And I was like just saying all kind of crazy stuff. Excuse me, and he didn't talk to me for like good 8-9 years, bro. Then when I left and I resigned from that and kind of just left altogether, like we reconnected, and like so now it's been the same thing that you and your brother's dealing with. Every time we talk, it's like, you know, we just share these stories and these memories about things that happened, and we like process. We get to like process a lot of that stuff together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when you look back on it, man, like some of the trauma, we didn't know it was like we didn't know that's what it was. You know what I mean? But now, like you're getting older, and you're like, yo. So we'll have these conversations, bro, and I'm just like, man, I can't believe that happened, or you know, this, like, how did it make you feel? You know what I mean? I think it's important.
Man, yeah, man. I feel all that. I feel myself getting a little teary thinking about it. Yeah, it's real. Like, just things that you go through collectively. You know what I'm saying? Like the collective experience. Like we were both there. We saw it, but it's like we different ages and at different places, so you experience it different. Like I was the baby. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just eat my Cheerios and not thinking, you know what I'm saying, so to speak, not thinking of it, but like he's really getting the brunt of it or seeing a larger perspective of it. And like now as adults, as grown, we both grown, he telling me like, nah, man, you was there, but this is how I really, you know what I mean? And I'm like, word, like, oh man, I never thought about it like that, or I never looked at Ma like that. I didn't know she was this or that like that, or you know what I'm saying? And so it's very eye opening to talk with your older siblings at an older age as an adult and really be able to dig deep in how they felt or what they were seeing at the time, and like almost kind of trauma bond about it, even though you shouldn't really be bonding over trauma, you know what I'm saying? But
it's hard not to when you experience it in the same, you know what I mean?
It's almost like I feel like I need it though, because not that I need the trauma bond, but I need the bond period to reestablish the bond, or like to feel connected to him or to them, you know what I'm saying? But we just happen to do it over trauma. That's not always the best thing, but it happens, and it's natural to happen, and that's not a slight to who raised us and how we were raised, but what happened, and we experienced it, we lived it, and so I have to be able to talk to somebody about it when I do choose to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I think overall, like, I think it's and I feel myself getting triggered like that, that we still have the capacity to love and to try to be decent people. I feel it come. I'm sorry, but like that I have the capacity to love, and that I have the capacity to hold space for other people and to show them love and to live this life where I'm trying to be a positive influence. Like, it's crazy to me because I feel like I should be angry all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am angry sometimes when I really think about stuff. Like, I feel cheated. Like, yo, I could have been this person had I been nurtured or loved in this way, or if I would have had the support at that stage, that critical stage at this point, and I didn't. And so now I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm mad. Yeah. And so I'm walking around with that, but at the same time, I'm hosting these mics and providing these spaces for other people, and they're coming in with their issues and their brokenness, and I'm like, nah, you could lead out all at the door because you're welcome here, and I need you to experience this, and I need you to feel this. But really, it's me just like actively practicing giving away the love that I want to receive or that I wished I had received. So like that's what's keeping me afloat. You know what I'm saying? The fact that I can actively practice this love thing and like not be bitter or not be angry, you know what I'm saying, for the most part, until those moments when I'm truly alone and I'm sitting and I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, this, you know what I'm saying?
I think though what's important about that too is that it shows like maturity in the fact that you have the choice. Like, you can be angry. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think back on the way that and the things that I experienced growing up, and I'm like, yo, there's no reason that like it gives me every. I was just talking to my brother about this. Actually, I was just talking to my brother about this when we were at home for Christmas, and I told my brother, I said, look, like, I know things weren't perfect. You know what I'm saying? But if we really wanted to, our lives could have played a whole different
For
trajectory.
sure.
If we would have seen like the stuff that we experienced, like some of us experienced when we was growing up, and then take that and be like, you know what? I'm not trying to I'm just gonna let all this anger out. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Imagine some of the roads that we
Yeah.
could have been down. I was sitting there talking to my parents, and I was like, man, I don't think you guys understand like what we like the road we could have went down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I figuratively weep for the person that I think I could have been had I had that support and that love. Like I know I see in some of my friends' relationships with their parents and just how they move, like the difference between growing up in love and growing in survival mode.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's not to say that we weren't loved, but I definitely grew up in a space where it wasn't vocally expressed all the time, and I wasn't necessarily hugged, but like the love that I was showing was, yo, you got food on the table, you got clothes on your back, you got a roof over your head type.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
it was, but I'm a soul and a spirit that needs the hug and
Nurturing and
the nurture. But it
Yeah.
was very like, you know what I'm
Just, yeah,
saying?
black and
And
white.
like the parenting style at the time was like, you know what I mean? Like it was very one size fits all, and I don't think that was fair to me personally, but to everybody. Some people needed that tough love. But I feel like my mom just she was doing the best that she could, and I had that's a whole separate thought that I need to come back to. That like the other day I was just like, our parents were young once, and they were people, and like giving them grace for that, and like that was the whole thing I was diving into. But like I had to just like really I lost the thought getting on the other thought, but I just really had to like just sit and think about it. But yeah, I get angry sometimes thinking about who I could have been and who I should have been. Like I was, and my aunt said it to me one time. She was just like, "Q, I just knew you was gonna be the doctor in the family, and you was gonna do this, this, and this, and be great." And she was like, "I'm not taking away from who you are right now, and like how you still managed to make something of yourself, blah blah blah." But she was just like, "Yo, I don't think you were nurtured the way you should have been, or pushed the way you should have been to get where you needed to go." And I think about that all the time, man. It haunts me. It haunts me. Like it haunts me, bro.
But here's my thing though. Number one, here's my thing, right? First off, you're only like this is just my thinking on it, right? And just to kind of like just be on the outside kind of looking in kind of a little bit, you know what I mean? So number one, like you're only 36, right?
Right?
So
I'm
you see how I
36.
circled that back
I'm
around.
not Thanos. No, I'm
Bro,
just playing.
we're like we're so young. I was just listening to a thing the other day that said Samuel L. Jackson didn't start acting until he was 40, bro.
Right. Yeah, I saw that.
40?
I saw that.
I'm like, what in the world? So I'm looking like, cause that was my thing. Cause my thing is like with what you're saying, I think sometimes like I think about the pressure that I put on myself
Mm,
to be somebody that I thought that I was supposed to be, but it wasn't based on like who I really wanted to be. It was based on like everybody else's expectations. So, like even like with my own parents, like it's like they have an expectation of what they think that my life should look like because they're my parents, right?
right.
But at the same time, it's like I can't live off of that.
Facts.
Like, and I can't give that much weight because it just puts unnecessary pressure on myself. You know what I mean?
That, but I also feel like, well, the way I grew up anyway, like, my mom was, I was a mama's boy. I was definitely the baby until, what I'm saying, she adopted kids that were younger than me. And so, like, I was always the person that, like, I could take it from anybody, like at school or whatever. You can say whatever you want and it'll roll off my back. It might sting a little bit because, words, whatever, we kids. But, like, if my mom said something to me, like, crushed. Like, that
Yeah.
was law. Like, it was oh, I'm disappointed in you. I'm done for the day. Like, you know, you know what I mean? Like, so and we would get into it and be verbally sparring, and she would just say something like, and so over time I built this armor and this defensiveness to where like, yo, you're not gonna hurt me with your words, or I'm gonna go for the jugular first and like cut the deepest so that like you can't come back and have an attack back. Like I'm gonna say the most hurtful thing now so I can kill this conversation and walk away because you're not gonna hurt me. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of stuff like.
How do you think that's impacted your life, like being like that?
Oh man, I recognized it early, but it still took me some time to deal with it and try to shake it. It's still in there somewhere, but it's relatively minimal now. But between that, like feeling like I still have the arm, I'm still very defensive and sensitive. But I don't necessarily like try to like just go for the jugular or kill it when I'm talking. But there was a time like it was that negative piece, and then it was also like I would crush like your dreams, like because my dreams were constantly being crushed. Like whenever I got excited about something, I'll come on, Mom, this happened, da, da, da. And she'd be like, well, that's not gonna work. Like every time, like never gave me room to like try it and fail at it. Like she'd just tell me from jump. And in hindsight now, and also having had that conversation maybe once before it turned left and went sour, like it's her trying to apply her wisdom. Like I could see 7 steps ahead of you because I've been here and did it already. But the presentation just was crushing. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just tell me out the gate like that's not gonna work. Like maybe provide a solution. Be like, all right, go left here instead of making it. You know what I'm saying? Let me make the mistake, but like give me the wisdom. But to just be like, nah, it's not gonna work. Like I used to do that to people. Like you know what I'm saying? And not even realize this might be like, yo,
but here's the more important part. You should probably do it to yourself though.
Oh yeah.
So then that's the thing, right? Is like
how much time you got? How much time you got? If I had $100 for every time I doubted myself or talked myself out of a blessing or doing something, because I'd be a bajillionaire. Like I literally struggle with feeling inadequate or feeling like I'm not enough.
Yeah.
And that is a result of that. Like I was the honor roll student. I was in the honor society. I taught Sunday school. You know what I'm saying? I had all the big parts of the Easter recital. I did all the right things, but it just seemed like it was never good enough. Or like my accomplishments and things that I did were bragged on over the phone with her girlfriends, but never said to me like, I'm proud of you type stuff. So it would be like, girl, you know, he just made the National Honor Society. I got to buy him a new suit or something. But like never to me, like maybe 2 or 3 times I might be able to remember in my life. She's like, I'm proud of you. And maybe one of those times it was written down on something. It wasn't said. You know what I'm saying? So like, this is what I'm coming from. But I'm literally living a life where every day I'm talking to people like, yo, you doing your thing. I'm proud of you. Like, keep going. But like the little me inside is like, who was doing, you know what I'm saying? Like Antoine Fisher, like, who's going to cry for the little boy? Like I'm out here, you know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to make the most of it and like, and live it. So yeah, I didn't plan on coming on this thing and getting all like in my business and emotional, but like, that's what happens. Putting me in that space, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like if we keep talking, I'm gonna really shed a tear on this joint.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Then we're gonna have to cut. All right, y'all, I'm out of here. I'm so sorry.
Let me ask you this question: have you ever talked to your mom about that? Like, have you ever like confronted her about it? Not confront, but like brought it up.
In real life, I feel like when I was in like my mid-20s, I confronted it a little bit, and I was like aggressive. It might have been a little bit from a place of anger, like,
yeah.
And I was just like, yo, all of us got issues, and you're the common denominator. I remember saying it like that. I was like, yo, like, we depressed, we got anxiety, we got this, we got that. Like, the common denominator is you. Like, how you feel about that? And she was just like, get out of my face with that. Like, I did the best I could. I was raising all of y'all by myself until, you know what I'm saying, I got married, da-da-da. And in hindsight, like, she did do again, going back to that thought, our parents were young. They were doing what they could do at the time. But, like, some of it just still wasn't right. You know
where was your dad in all of this? Like, was he but your dad was like your
adopted dad, right? I was adopted.
Yeah.
When I was adopted, my mom that adopted us, she was a single woman at the time, raising kids in the foster care system. we would have, she quote unquote, like, I guess, kept us or adopted us like officially, but there would be kids that passed through. So I would have a brother for half a school year or for the summer, or just kids that were transitioning to the next space. So like, um, but there were a group of us that she kept, and then, like, you know, when people age out or they move on or whatever, like she might get another one or something. I don't know. Again, I was young. In hindsight, when I talk to my brothers and sisters, and this is no slight to her, and I mean no disrespect, but like when I talk to my older siblings, they're like, "Yo, she was doing it for the funding," you know what I'm saying, or the bread, or whatever. But you know what I mean. I can't even remember what the question was because I started thinking about all these things. But
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was. So like I said, like we were, I guess, lucky, quote unquote, enough to be adopted, and then, you know, I would have temporary siblings or whatever, and that was kind of like the model we grew up on, like, and what we experienced. So like passing through that lens and looking at life, I think for a long time it was something that like I think up until like probably like I was an adult, like in my 20s, like it was something that like I was ashamed of, like I didn't speak about, like my closest friends knew it, but like I guess just observing and being a friend to somebody, like some of them knew, like, nigga, excuse me, I'm sorry, like, yo, we knew you was adopted this whole time, bro. Like we see you got different brothers every year. We see you got a sister this year. Like, come on, son.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, even still, like the ones that didn't know, like, yeah, tell them. But like it was very like close to the chest, like didn't speak about it, like what happens in this house type thing. But I mean, like as an adult, I got to a point where I was just like, all right, like it's nothing to hide from. Like it happens. Millions of people are adopted every day. Blah blah blah. We all have our experiences, for better or for worse. But yeah, that was kind of the experience. I lost track of what the question was.
No, you good. Yeah, you pretty much touched on it, man. Because I was just kind of curious about what that. No, I was talking about your dad being in there, and you were just explaining about.
So yeah, she was single when when she adopted us, and like maybe I think I was adopted when I was like 4, and maybe around like, I don't know, somewhere between 4 and like 8 or 9, she got married um, to this man. He was a very kind man called Mr. Martin. Um, they got married. Maybe it was a little bit later than that. I might have been 9 or 10. I don't know. Somewhere between 5 and 10, they got married, and then it was a 2-parent household. But before that, she was just solo dolo with mad kids in the house. Like, but she was doing her thing. She was making it work. And But he was a quiet man. Didn't talk much. Worked, worked to the bone, and then he would come home and like be in his little office space. She would bring him up dinner on a tray, he'd eat. I was sitting there and watch the news, which goes back to the journalism.
Yeah.
Because I would watch the nightly news with him. I remember even when September 11th happened, like sitting on the couch with him and watching the news with Brian Jennings, like I said. So like that was kind of part of the thought process, like, oh, I want to do journalism because like I'm watching the nightly news with my pops, you know what I'm saying, so to speak.
So do you think that that's why you wanted to do it, was because this was something that he liked and you thought that it would
not necessarily that he liked it. I enjoyed writing.
Yeah.
Period. Like I enjoyed writing, but watching the news with him probably made me think I could be on television doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
And be a face on television. But I generally enjoyed writing. And I like excelled that. I always had high marks in English and stuff, and like won like a couple of creative writing things like in elementary or middle school. So it was, you know what I'm saying, a derivative of that like I probably wanted to do journalism. But yeah, he's a quiet man, didn't say much, like could bark when he needed to. I mean, I'm talking about him like he's not alive, he's still alive. But could bark and get on you when he needed to, but rarely did it. And like could sing, like quiet man, soft voice, but like he's from like North Carolina, like in the country, so like he got that deep baritone. Like we get in church and like blow it down. I used to, you know what I'm saying, a couple of times I would go to his church because we went to a different church. Like he was Baptist, we went to like Church of God in Christ. But like I would visit and I'd be sitting in the pews like, yo, that's my dad. Yo, he blazing that solo. Like stop playing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like proud moment like that. But
that's
like
cool.
Quiet man. But like I mean, he came into a situation where the woman had a bunch of kids, and he loved all of us. You know what I'm saying? Like equally, and like it was cool. He was cool. He is cool, And it was wild because like when he came around, I just remember that being a time period where we started getting name brand stuff because he was the manager at Champ Sports
Oh,
at
gotcha,
the
gotcha,
time.
gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So
How
before
old were
that,
you at that time?
it was probably like middle school, like seventh, eighth grade,
Yeah,
probably eighth
yeah,
grade
yeah.
ish,
That's when it
eighth grade.
starts
Like they was
mattering.
dating before that, but they got married around right before seventh grade. Cause they got married. I don't know. They got married when I was either late elementary or early middle
So
school.
they
But
still together?
nah, they divorced like a while ago. And that's another layer to things because I haven't really told too many people this out loud, but um man, I feel like I'm gonna get trouble. But like my brother, I was talking to my sister-in-law on Instagram, and she said that my brother was like that my mom might be experiencing early onset dementia.
Really?
Yeah, and I haven't said that publicly, so it's wild I'm saying this. But like, she called me the other day out the blue, and like knowing that now, like thinking about the conversation, how she couldn't recall things, I'm like, like it's almost like like just a regular like, oh, I can't think of that person's name right now type thing. But like, I'm also like, maybe it really is what it is. Um, and I'm also losing my train of thought again of what I was trying to get to the point. I have a habit of like talking around the story to get to the point.
But we're gonna get to it though.
But
Yeah. So
but
you
yeah,
said that she called and she said about the early onset.
yeah, but it
And
was something before that. I was
because
saying that
we
was
were talking about they divorced.
yeah, they divorced, and she was on the phone talking to me like, me and Dad divorced, and I was like, yeah, that was like 5, 6, 7 years ago now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But she's like recalling it like it's fresh or something. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of things are hitting different, and like that's kind of been something I've been walking around with for because it's been like 2 or 3 weeks now that I've had that knowledge. But like our relationship is bent or like not very non-existent. So like it's a part of me that's like numb to it, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like I should be very much like, oh, my mama, you know what I'm saying? But like, I'm not gonna say I don't care, but I'm also like, because of everything that we've been through leading up to now, I'm just like, man, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a part of my heart that's like trying to work towards feeling that out and being able to like, you know what I mean? Like I had a conversation when I was like, yo, I'm gonna come see about you soon, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, okay, but I think I was mentioning all that because like she was saying that they were divorced. She was like, me and Dad divorced. And I was like, yeah, no. Or like she didn't remember that we spoke maybe a month ago or something
Right.
for the first time in a long time because, or even that we spoke like a month ago maybe for a little bit, but the last time I spoke to her before that was like July or something. And the last time before that was like years. I don't know. But that's another story too. But I had to learn, I had to break that relationship off because it was toxic and I was causing me to be depressed. I tried to make it work. I felt like I wasn't being met in the middle. Like I was making a supreme effort to try to repair it, but she was very stuck in her ways. So I had to walk away to better myself. But man, I lost it again. But she was just recalling things like I didn't know. And I was like, we spoke because last year for Mother's Day, the homie Donald Hurdle and Ashley Felder, they go to Grove Church in Portsmouth, and the church was doing a Mother's Day presentation, and they were filming like a cipher, like a Mother's Day cipher, and they asked me to be a part of it, and so I wrote a verse for it, but I wrote it from I wasn't gonna lie or sugarcoat it.
Right.
I wrote it from a broken relationship type perspective,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Yo, is this cool?" And it was like, "Yeah, tell your story," and I did it, and I inboxed it to her on Facebook in May when it happened or whatever, but she didn't see it until like July. Older parents are not tech savvy like that. So when she saw it, she called me and we spoke in like July or August or something like that. And then I just spoke to her kind of recently and she called me and like she was trying to recall. She was like, "Can you send me that link so I could watch it again?" And I was like, "I inboxed it to you," and she didn't remember that.
Yeah.
And like that like hurt a little bit, but like the fact that she remembered enough to want to see it, I'm like, I'll find a link or I'll make a link. I was like, I'll put it on YouTube so that I can have the link and I'll send it to you so you can watch it. And I don't know. That's just I'm trying to deal with it. I talked to some of my friends that know me from childhood that grew up and know that I have this turbulent relationship, and I was like, "Yo, am I bugging that I don't feel nothing?" Like, and they were like, "Nah, you're not bugging, bro. Like, you're not bugging." And so, yeah, man, it's just a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah. That's a lot, man. And you know what? I think life can be like layers like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like where you start kind of peeling that back. I don't know. I don't think it's like you said. I don't think that you're. I don't think you're bugging out about it. I don't think that if you just look at it, I don't know the whole story. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I can't like.
And even saying that, my mind it goes like having shared all this, like, and it's gonna be on your podcast, and I'm doing a live that I might or might not save, but like the adage of like what happens in this house stays in this house, or
Yeah.
like don't be telling my business in the street, or like, but like, yo, we also have to tell our own stories, and
Yeah.
I'm experiencing this in real time, and I'm allowed to feel these things, and like I don't have to shut up about it, like, you know what I mean, like,
Yeah.
but like,
And it's kind of therapy though, because it's
yeah,
like you work it out. Because what I realized, man, is a lot of times when we have these situations, they're just swimming around in our head,
exactly,
and it's just like in there, and it's just all in there, and until you start like talking about it and then understanding, okay, this is why I'm feeling like that, or this is why I'm experiencing it. You know what I mean? You can't. Dang, yeah, that can be tough, bro.
yeah,
That could be tough, man.
hmm.
I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah,
I
no,
think
no problem.
I think it's important to to be able to share that and just be safe with
Yeah,
it, man.
and again, like, it's wild because my brother was like, my sister-in-law was telling me that my brother-in-law was like, yo, we think mine has early onset, like she's showing symptoms. Like, he was like, yo, she fell down a couple times at Thanksgiving, and she was kind of like really mean to everybody, and I was just like, word. And it's wild because I haven't been home for Thanksgiving in forever. I went home for Thanksgiving like three before the pandemic, like maybe 2018 or 19, for
Mm-hmm.
like the first time in like a decade. You know what I'm saying? Just because our relationship was what it was. And so as a result of our relationship, like that was being like that, like I just stayed away from the family period because she's the matriarch, you know what I'm saying, or whatever you
Yeah,
want to call it. So she's like the main centerpiece. Like, can't just come around and be like, "Yo, what's up, everybody?" Because
yeah.
I'm gonna run into you. Like, I'm gonna have to speak. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather just not. You know what I mean? And so that was a whole experience in itself. And like, I just remember, like, of course, her and my mom, her and my dad divorced or whatever, but they're still cool to some degree. So we're at his house or apartment or whatever for Thanksgiving, and like I'm sitting on the sectional, and I'm at the edge of the section, at the edge of the sectional that's right by the door. So everybody walking through the door, I'm the first person they see. So everybody's like, "Oh snap, cute!" Da
Yeah,
da da. We dapping up, hugging. She comes through. She's like, "Oh my god, my son is home." Word, really? So then we hug and like I, she's like crying on my shoulder. I'm like, come on, dog, this just a new hoodie. Like, get
yeah,
off me. But I just remember like trying to hold like my newborn nephew and like avoid all the conversation because I could feel her like boring a hole in my face, like wanting to talk,
yeah.
and I'm just like, nah, I'm just hold this baby right now. You know what I'm saying? Like chilling with my nephew the whole
Yeah.
time, and so
Is it
it's
because
just
you didn't want to talk? You didn't want to talk to her, or
it was
just what?
I kind of did use the baby as a shield. I'm not gonna I'm
Yeah.
not gonna hold you, but it was also just like, yo, like I'm here. Like, let that be enough for right now. Like, let's not overwhelm it. Like, we
Yeah,
spoke briefly. Like, we had a couple minutes of conversation. I did talk to her, but like, sometimes you just know your parents are gonna bring up the same conversation because like it will always be a thing. Like, what are you up to? Where you working? Are you back? Did you ever go back to school? Did you do this? Did you do this? And so like, rather than hear the disappointment or hear that you're not pleased or you don't like what I'm doing now, I'm just like, let's just not talk about it. It's Thanksgiving. Like,
yeah.
seeing
No, I
meeting
feel
my
you.
baby nephew for the first time in person, like since he was born, and like
I feel you.
everybody's here. I haven't been here in a long time. I just want to eat some good food, and like it was a lot just for me to be there. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because even then, I had memories of like the time when she kicked me out, and I came home for Thanksgiving and didn't feel welcome, and you know what I'm saying? Like all these feelings are rising up in my stomach and in my mind, and I'm like, yo, if you act up today, I'm out. I'm calling a
yeah,
lift, or I'm just have my brother take me home. Like, I'm
yeah,
not doing this. So
yeah,
like, be cool before I run out of here. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And
yeah.
like, so I don't know, man.
Dang.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot.
That could take a lot,
But
man.
again, the capacity to still love and to still be joyful and to still hold space, provide space for other people is crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever your life is, like we all been through something and we still had a capacity to love and to do great things and to do wonders beyond our imagination, like in spite of when you
Yeah,
should be like that blows my mind. And that's shout out to God. Like I don't even understand it sometimes, but I just be like, yo, thanks man that you still allow me to be a light. Because man, I want to break something or shout and scream. You know what I'm saying? A lot of days. So
yeah. What do you think? What do you think right now in your life with experiencing all of that, going through those different things? You know what I mean? Like learning how to navigate through that. What do you think your purpose as a man is right
um I definitely think my purpose is tied to or wrapped up in being a servant of the people, definitely of the culture. Um, I just want to help as many people as I can along the way, um, whether it be through providing the platforms that I do with the things that I do, or just like being an example, or just showing somebody like, hey, this can happen to you, but you can still, you know what I'm saying, get through it and still do something dope. And so I just think my purpose is to serve ultimately. You know what I mean?
now? Yeah, that's good.
That's
That's
the
good.
like most simple way I could put it.
Yeah, yeah, that's good, and that's clear. You know what I'm saying? I think that that's really clear because I've been thinking about purpose a lot lately, especially like as a man. Like I went through a season over the last like 5-6 years where I just didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. Like I was just
And that's honest.
flown. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and I was just like, and I felt like, first off, I never had experienced that in life before, right? Because like when I left, bless you. When
Thank
I
you.
left and went to the military, it's like they tell you like this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is the, you know what I mean. And then when I was in the church, like I knew my role, I knew what position I had to play, and then just being in a space where like I was like, yo, I don't know what my purpose is supposed to be.
But
You know?
that's honest for real. And like even though I say like, yo, my purpose is to be a servant, like that's like a general
Yeah,
thing. There's a specificity to purpose that I think we have to find. I think I'm still in pursuit of that. I know that it's derivative of being a servant. Um, but maybe I don't necessarily know like to the T. But in that, in the not knowing, I think there's relevance to taking a given direction and walking it and seeing what happens and figuring it out as you go. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? As opposed to just standing still and be like, well, what am I supposed to do?
yeah,
Like sometimes you have to take a given like initiative to be like, all right, well, let me, you know what I'm saying? I think my purpose is to serve. All right, well, let me serve my community and the culture through being active in the community by holding space and creating space through these open mic platforms or these community platforms that I'm on or a part of or volunteering for, or, you know what I'm saying, and being in service. So like I think you find it you find the purpose in the doing of the purpose.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm
Man, that
saying?
makes
Like
sense.
you might not even know what it is, but by actively pursuing a thing, you kind of find it while you're doing it.
How do you? But then my thing is, then how do you kind of deal with that and be okay with that, especially when, like you said, like you even mentioned, growing up, like told, like, all right, you can't do that, you can't do this. So it's like, how do you go about doing that if you grow up in an environment that doesn't really encourage you to let the unfolding of just kind of doing, kind of, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like what I'm saying?
Slightly.
Yeah,
I think we all reach a point when you get to an age, as you get older, where you go and try and do all the stuff that you were told you couldn't do or that you
yeah,
shouldn't be doing.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so, like, it's the one is the discovery of yourself and learning that, hey, I actually like doing some of these things that I was told I couldn't do, whether they're positive or negative. Hopefully they're positive, but you know what I'm saying? Like we're held back or not exposed to things out of fear. You know what I'm saying? Our parents are like, don't do that. You might get hurt. You might do,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And it end up being something that you're actually God
Good
given
at
talented to do.
exactly.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? And like
yeah,
you didn't do it all this time because X, Y, and Z. So again, we find the purpose in the doing, but it's also like that coming of age and trying new things and trying to be in different spaces and see how they feel and how those spaces respond to you and how you maneuver through them. And so it's the little bit of the rebel in all of us, or the little bit of the going against the grain or going against the things that we were told not to do. You
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You try them at least once, you know what I'm saying? Most of them anyway. And so some of those things that end up being things that you're really good at, or it's not even things that you weren't necessarily told to do, is things that you might have enjoyed doing, but it wasn't supported
Right.
by your family or by the people that you look to for the support. You know what I'm saying? Like me hosting an open mic or doing music or whatever, that necessarily wasn't supported. I was literally in chorus from elementary through high school.
Yeah.
Never came to a concert.
Really?
Never.
Really?
Never. Never
Yeah.
came to one my whole time. I feel like I asked her about it. I can't remember her answer. Asked her about that when I was a little
What
bit older.
you know? It's crazy. Why does that hurt? Because like I had the same
Because you want to
situation.
look out in the audience and see your people.
Yeah,
Like, what
yeah,
do you?
yeah.
No.
I had an issue like that when I play because I played basketball for like 1 year in high school, and it was like the last game of like the senior game, like and I was a
Yeah.
senior. So like like they do the thing like where you go, you meet your parents in the middle of the court,
You walk
and then
in
you
here.
walk to the court, and I told them I was like, yo, I just want you to be here this one game.
Please, one time.
Yeah, yeah, and
Please, one time.
they were late. I don't hold it against them, man. I mean, it's life, but
Nah,
I just wonder why
I
that
hold it.
stuff hurt.
I hold it. I'm real enough to say I'm holding
Hey,
it.
I just
Yo,
always wonder why it hurts so much. You
from
know what I'm
like the
saying?
3rd grade to the 12th grade, never one concert.
Yeah,
But you was when I made at National Honor Society, you was in the front row.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the stuff that was a tangible brag or a humble brag that I was accomplishing, you was there. But like, come on, yo. Like a chorus concert, like everybody's parents are there.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
most parents are there. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like you could look out in the audience to see somebody. Never saw you there. Like that adds up.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
For sure.
that turns into, you know what I'm saying, as an adult, feelings of abandonment, feelings of, you know what I'm saying, like just different things, you know what I'm saying? And like I was man, I was in a training one time at my old job. Like there's this thing called adverse childhood experiences.
Yeah,
It's a test you can take. It's called the ACE test, adverse childhood experiences. And like the gist of it is that like it kind of denotes that like the things you experience as a child show up in your life as an adult. Sometimes very in a physical way, like you could literally have a sickness as a result of it, like or like mental health issues or whatever, like being abandoned as a child or neglected. You know what I'm saying? Could show up as, I don't know, being promiscuous or, you know what I'm saying, being depressed or having anxiety. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and so like, yo, you never showed up. Like, you know what I'm saying? I never saw you there in those spaces. Like, but again, parents doing the best they can. But that's also me still trying to cape for you and be like, yo, this was, you did the best you could. But like, you could have came to a concert and all the, you know what I'm saying, like it's a spring concert, fall concert, like that's, you know what I'm saying, if you really think about it from elementary to whatever, you do the math, that's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
20,
You
30,
could
40 concerts or something. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
you could have came to one, dog.
yeah,
Like and the whole time I don't have a memory of looking out to the audience and you sitting there. I don't. I think one time my sister-in-law came, and I might have been in 10th grade because did a concert called the Pops concert, and it was like a joint you had to audition for where you could sing a pop, like a song from the radio or whatever, and if you were good enough you got picked to perform it, and like the chorus would do like the background vocals or whatever, and me and my boys did Boys to Men, Water Runs Dry or whatever. Our harmonies were so basic. It was terrible, but it was really good though too. But yeah, I think my sister-in-law came to that one to support, and I think it was either that one or like she came to like 8th grade like chorus concert or something, because I think we did Do You Want a Revolution, and I auditioned for the rap part because I was a rapper. Of course I got it.
yeah, yeah.
But like it was either one or two of those, or it might have been both, that my sister-in-law came, but my parents never, my mom never came. You know what I'm saying? Like, so just like stuff like that, like you think about it later on, like dang, like, you know what I mean, just one time you couldn't show up for me. Like,
How do you feel like that affects you now as a man? Like, because obviously, we're gonna have times where we don't have anybody supporting us. You know what I'm saying? How are you able to like now process that and kind of still, or are you still trying to figure that out?
um if anything, I've learned that like it's as a performer or entertainer or whatever you want to call a person that holds space, like it's part of the process that you're gonna have shows where it's just you and the lights, right? But the consistency is what gets you to the point where you have the packed room, and so maybe it's part of that has hardened me to be ready for that. I never really thought about it until you just asked that question. But like, I don't know. If anything, maybe it just I don't. I can't even say that because a part of me still was like, "Yo, please show up and support." Like, I'm doing something really good. It's different than everything you've ever seen, and like, I'm really great at it. I'm probably one of the best at it, like that I know of. You know what I'm saying? Like, please support it, please. But that's also the little boy in me. Like, please support it. Like, please show
Yeah.
up for me. You know what I'm saying? But
Because I
like,
mean, what kind of difference do you think it would make if they showed up to like your next
I'm a whole different person.
event?
I'm a whole different person right now.
Yeah.
Like again, that goes back to the conversation we were having earlier about, or the conversation I was starting about, love, being raised in love and versus a survival mode. Like I constantly think about who I would have been had I had the constant support and backing. And even in that context, again, me caping and trying to stay positive about it. It's not that they didn't support; they just maybe couldn't be there in that moment. But that's me trying to, you know what I'm saying, mold it into a positive outlook. But like the reality is like, you know what I'm saying, it necessarily wasn't there. And so I just think like I see people, and like it's even some of my friends that like are responding on my live right now, that like some of them, like their parents supported everything they did, and I see the people that they are and like what they've done, like, and how it makes a tangible difference, like to me anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like even something as simple as graduating from college and like all those things. Not saying that like I blame my parents for not graduating from college, but like just stuff like it just hits different when you're
Yeah.
supported. I have a friend, and I used to work for his mom because mom had a nonprofit organization, and she's front row at all his shows.
Yeah.
Front row, kills me every time I see it.
Yeah.
I never said that out loud. I never told him. Maybe I told him, but like I'm happy. I'm ecstatic for him at that. But like diehard fan knows all the words to every song he writes.
Yeah.
He raps, sing, plays instruments, and she's there in the front row like this, going live all the time. And I'm like, every time I see it, just a little tiny choke up like in my heart,
Yeah.
like, damn, bro, like I couldn't have that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, you know how hard I would go. Like, it was wild to me, man. But like,
Support is so crucial. Like with what my wife's doing right now, I'm learning that lesson of support. Like she's pursuing her music full time and doing that. And so I was like, I had to
and
make
she was
up
a
in my
teacher,
mind. Yeah, she was a high
yeah,
school teacher.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And I'm learning because going through this process with her, I'm learning how important like support is. So like it's teaching me now, like with my kids, I have an 8-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son. So I'm looking at them growing up and I'm like, all right, I have to figure out how to manage my life in a way that I can be a support for them. Cause like you said, like now it's just like, yo, I just want you to be in the front row. You ain't got like, you know what I mean? Like just be there for
It
me
don't
and
even
how
got to
much
be the
farther.
front row though. Like, just be in the
Just be
room.
there. Yeah, just be in
If
the
I
room.
could look up, like, if I'd have just looked, I feel dang. I feel like I can't say nothing when I get choked up. But I feel like if I could have been in the rafters or whatever the things that you're standing on when we're doing a chorus concert, and just looked up and seen in the last row at the very back of the room,
Yeah,
you know what
it
I'm
would have made a
saying? Like,
difference. Yeah, it would have made a
it's a
difference.
difference.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it don't even gotta be that you gotta be in the first row. Like, just be in the room, and just like me knowing that you support. I saw a video on Instagram of a little girl at like her dance recital or something, and it's the end of the show, and they got the flowers in their hand, and she looks up and she looks around and she spots her parents in the crowd, and she starts crying, but like she's smiling. She's like, you know what I'm saying? But she smiles at something like, that's the feeling, you know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
I was like, man, I can't relate to that. I wish I
yeah,
could, but I can't relate to that. But this video is beautiful. But you know what I'm saying? Like, to look up and to see them and to know that they're like, yeah, we got you, hey, and they're cheering you. Like, I don't know what that feels like. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like,
I wonder how many men. There's probably a lot of men
a
that
lot of men,
deal with that.
a lot
Yeah,
of men. We just wanted you to be there or be in the room, and like that lack of support. And it's not even that, like, but yeah, but definitely for men, because like, we tend to be athletes or whatever. But even if you're not an athlete, even if you're doing something academically, but I also feel like for me personally, they showed up for academics, but not for like extracurriculars. I don't know, but that's besides the point. But like a lot of us played sports or did things. So like, yo, you don't come to the games, you don't show up for senior night. You know what I'm saying? Like when it really counts, I just need somebody to walk down. So I got to walk down.
I had to walk with the cheerleaders.
I had to walk.
Like the cheerleaders.
That's kind of a flex too.
I mean,
though.
It was a flex. It was. Yeah,
yeah. I'm surrounded by cheerleaders, bro. Like, cool with it. You know what I'm saying?
You know,
but
like half was bad.
It'd have been nice to have my mom and my dad on my side. You know what I'm saying? So like,
I would have preferred that for sure.
Yeah, like I would have took that $100, 100 million times over.
Yeah.
Even though the cheerleaders was a cheerleader.
Yeah, but that's support.
Boy, when I was in high school, the cheerleaders was a problem. But
that's it. That's it.
But yeah.
So I think like just even thinking about that, because I think it really brings up a good point, is that, you know, now I feel like our responsibility as men now. So like, all right, you went through that and you experienced how challenging it was not to have support. So I feel like even like why having conversations like this are important, because it's like as men now, we need support. Like we need like
for sure
other people to be like, hey, if you need somebody to be there or something like that, you gotta have that. You gotta have that. I think it's so important, bro. I think it's really important.
Yeah, and again, that goes back to me saying like, yo, that's why I try to give away. You know what I'm saying? The love that and support that I wish I received. I can't be everywhere all the time, but I could share your flyer. I could tell people about your event. You know what I'm saying? And when I can, I could pull up, actually show my face and let you know that I'm there. And I, you know what I'm saying, believe in what you're doing, et cetera, et cetera. And so try to do that. You know what I mean? But like, how many people don't have that? And like, yeah, that whole piece about just as men. So like, even with the space again that Brenton was throwing. Shout out to Brenton, Jomar, the homie. Like the beginners, the Black men yoga beginner space, whatever you want to call it. But like that space, like it's not so much like the aspect of having the parent in the seat, but like looking around and seeing other brothers in your similar age range or context, like that's the support, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, we could show up for each other. We just have to be mindful of it and actively practice it. Like, yo, you my brother, I'm gonna be there. Told you I'm gonna be there. Or like, yo, I can't make it, but I'm gonna pay for a ticket and pay for somebody else to go. Or, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let people know so they could come to your event or come to the yoga joint. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna invite 5 people, even if I don't make it, some of them are gonna show up on, you know what I'm saying, and representing. We have to continuously hold space for each other as men. And like, yo, I've been meaning to make a status about that. Like, yo, some brothers have showed up for me and like dope ways and not even realize that like it's a brother, his name is Daniel. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He's like Nigerian. But his wife Paula is cool, and we go back. It's wild though, because he hit me up to when he was gonna propose, and he was like, yo, I heard you the man that knows, you know what I'm saying, where to find people or whatever. And he was like, yeah, I need a guitar player because I'm going to propose to Shorty in front of the Narrow, the cinema. And I sent him a friend that played a guitar, and he did it. And they're married now. But I went to another guy, I know another brother's show. He hosts a writing workshop at this coffee spot on 21st and 24th Street. And I went and I ran into Paula and I ran into the guy, to her husband. And he was like, yeah, I've been meaning to chop it up with you, but like, you know, I haven't seen you in a while. I was like, yeah, I've been off the scene. Be honest with you, like I was depressed last summer. Like I think I'd be having seasonal depression, but it's shifted from like the winter time, like now the fall and the winter, to like the summer. So like the time of year when I'm like supposed to be the most dopest, vibrant, it's shifted to the summer. And I've literally missed like the last 2 summers being in my room, like literally like shut down, lost mad weight. Dang. Wasn't working, like just getting by on grace, like disgusting. And so that was like one of my first times like starting to come back outside or whatever. And he was like, yo, I haven't seen you around, but I've been meaning to chop it up with you. He was like, yo, come to my house for dinner after this. I was like, word. So I left with them. He didn't live too far from there. Him and his wife cooked up a little dish, like they just threw something together. It was delicious. And like, like we sat at the table and bro, like really just asked me about myself, and we were trading, you know, sharing space, but also trading stories about our experiences. And he's telling me how, you know what I'm saying, he came over from Nigeria and he's been here dolo, like, you know what I'm saying, as a citizen now, and like just getting his stuff together and like trying to, you know, maybe possibly send for his parents and da da da. Like, and I'm sharing like how I was adopted and how I grew up like this, and like not even realizing that like bro's holding space for me, like to
Yeah.
just
Be
decompress and to
yourself.
share
Yeah.
my story. And like I'm telling him like, yo, because he's like, yeah, I hadn't seen you. And I'm like, yeah, I was wild depressed. I was like working through it. I'm trying to, it's my first time coming out. I just came to support the homie Link today. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I ended up getting up and performing. Like it was like the 1 year anniversary of his writing workshop. And people that have been going to the workshop for the past year were sharing their stories or their poems or whatever. And I was just like, well, I wasn't going to do anything, but I was like, I was moved by people's presentations. So I was like, yeah, I just want to leave a offering of some sort and share myself. And that ended up opening whole conversations with people, because the piece that I did opened up conversation. And like that's what made him be like, yeah, I want to chop it up with you. And like bro held space for me, and I ate at his table and we broke bread, and it was beautiful. And like I ended up just walking away with a better understanding of him and like that experience. And then like a couple weeks ago, it was the anniversary of uh one of my older brothers passing. He passed on January 4th, 2007. And around that time, that week, it might have been that specific day or around that week, like if I go to an open mic around that time, I have a song that I wrote for him and I perform it just to put his name in the air to remember him and all of that. And I got to this open mic too late to do it, but they let me freestyle at the end or something. So I said his name in the freestyle, whatever. So I was pleased with that, you know what I'm saying? Because I was like, yeah, I just wanted to put his name in the air, because like, people are alive as long as you continue to remember them, or at least that's what I believe. So I didn't get a chance to perform the song, but anyway, my boy T from the P, I was catching the bus home after the open mic, like at midnight or something, and he was like, "Yo, you could have called me. I would have gave you a ride." Blah blah blah. Anyway, the point was that he was like, I was telling him I didn't get to perform the song because I think I had made a status about it, like, "Yo, my brother passed away today in 2007, and like he's the reason why I rap and do hip hop, because he introduced me to De La Soul and Tribe and all these things, like growing up in the early '90s in New York, in Long Island." And so I was like, I didn't get to perform the song to honor him, da da da. And he was like, do it right now. And I was like, bro, I'm on a bus. I'm not about to start rapping on the bus. It's me and like one lady in the bus driver. I'm not about to spit on the bus. He was like, do the song. And I was like, nah. I was like, I'm about to get off the bus like in like 30 seconds though. And so I got off the bus, but I was like, I knew he asked, but I was trying to ignore him. And like, I started walking home, but we talking. He was like, do the song. And I'm like, bro, I'm walking home. He's like, so? Yeah. So I literally walked home performing a song for him, but he held space for me to do that, to honor my brother and to put his name in the air. And like, I didn't, it was wild because he called me after the pre part of that story is that he called me when he saw the status and he was like, yo, I'm not trying to get mushy, but yeah, I know you lost your brother, but just know that you gained me as a brother, as a younger brother anyway. And I appreciate you and I look up to you and I appreciate the lessons that you taught me and da 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 da. And like, I had to thank him for that. But I also was like, yo, I did gain a lot of brothers, like, you know what I'm saying? You and like some older brothers, definitely like people, like big homies, mentors, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Since I've lost him as a very physical brother. And so like, um, he said that, and then we had a conversation, and he was like, "Do the song." And like, I literally was walking home and spitting a song for him while I was walking home, and then like, you know what I'm saying? It just was like a release. So like,
right.
The way that we are able to inadvertently show up for each other without even thinking about it sometimes, just in being genuine and having friendship or having bond is important too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As men, like, you know what I mean? It's not always like some grand gesture. I forget how to say a word, but like, it's just
being there.
Yeah, just being there, just being present. Like, and sometimes it's not even that you got to talk. It's just physically being in the space. There, Again, like, you don't got to be in the front row. If you could just be in the building, like, that's all I need. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just need to see familiar faces, and that's something for me. Even when I think about that, even when I'm hosting my open mic or my show, or when somebody asks me to come to a space, like as a featured artist or go somewhere, I'm like, yo, if y'all could pull up, please. I literally say, I just need to see a familiar face in the audience. Not that I'm afraid to perform in front of a bunch of strangers, but you be nervous or whatever, and like seeing that one person,
it
solidifies it, and it puts you back in your bag, and then you could, you know what I'm saying? So like, yo, you don't even got to be in the front row for me. Just be in a building. Just let me see your face. It gives me that reassurance, and then I can go kill. You know what I'm saying? And do what I need to do.
For sure.
It's wild.
That's dope, man. Well, man, I think this has been good. What we at time wise about 1:40. I think we can go ahead and wind it on down, bro.
It's whatever you want to do, man. I'm willing to continue the conversation, but if you got to go, I think you got a lot of good stuff. I definitely
for sure. Where do you see yourself you know, at this season in life, you know, like I mentioned before, we were kind of talking, and you know how you said that right now you're kind of coming out of like a
Yeah.
season. You know what I mean? So where do you see yourself? Kind of what are the next moves that you see yourself making?
Mm. The reality of it all is that I'm gonna get, I'm gonna do what I can with what I got. Nah, but uh, I'm very much so in a space where even for example, I was saying I like the words this year because everybody has a word for the year. Blah blah blah. Um, is power, as in, yo, let me step into my power. Like I put in the time and the effort and the energy to be, um, to pretty much have an area of expertise as far as like this hosting thing and holding space and curating events. And so like I really need to start walking in it and not like shortchanging myself or allowing people to think they could pull fast ones on me because I've been doing this too long, you know what I'm saying? So stepping into my power, and like the other word I had was pay me. You gotta pay me this year. Like I've got like 10, 12 years in the game now. Like stop playing. Like
Yeah,
I do this. Like people rock with me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not me tooting a horn, but I've built a following because I've been consistent. I've been out here in these streets. I know the poets, I know the painters, I know the MCs, I know the, you know what I'm saying? And I bring them all together and we create these vibes. Like, pay me for that. Like, my knowledge is, you know what I'm saying? My knowledge. Um, but I'm just in a space where I need to, and definitely, like I said, having come out of the space of being what I like to call under my rock, which is really a euphemism for being depressed. But
you in your cave, bro. I call it
yeah,
in your cave when
in
I
my cave
experience
under the
it.
rock. There's rocks in the cave, same
Yeah.
difference. But but so I'm like, I'm just in a space where I'm like, yo, right now I feel amazing. So while I'm in this bag and I'm in this space where I feel like, yo, anything's possible, I need to just work while the day is the day. You know what I'm saying? While
Yeah,
the day is long, and strike while the iron is hot. Because I know, not that I'm anticipating, but there might come a time where I feel like I have to go in the cave again. So like while I have it, I need to work as much as possible and get it done. But I'm just in a space really where I'm like, yo, I acknowledge that, like, you know what I'm saying? I have these issues or these flaws, but like I'm really something special.
yeah,
You don't know nobody like me. You
yeah,
haven't seen anybody like me. Somebody with a heart like mine for people, somebody that'll serve like me, somebody that loves, you know what I'm saying, to the best of his ability and unconditionally, and like really wants to see everybody win. Like there's nobody with a heart like mine, and like that's moving like me, and that's trying to do good and do right by people, and not, you know what I'm saying, have a reputation that's ill spoken of. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't really say anything crazy about me or on my name. And if you do, if you are out here saying it, the people that know me to the core or that know me well enough, they're gonna look at you wild. Like, really, Q5? I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm just in a space where I see myself scaling up operations, so to speak, and like taking everything that I'm doing to the next level. You know what I'm saying? Like, just with the shows and the outreach and the music, and just being able to be a blessing. I think my biggest thing has always been like, yo, it's not even that I want to be well known or famous for myself. I want to do it so that I can reach more people and have a greater influence and be able to be a bigger blessing. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I mean, of course, you know what I mean, as a human, as a person, like, yeah, I need a bigger bag, et cetera, et cetera. But like, nah, the servant part of me, or the servant brain in me, that's a large part of who I am or how I identify, is like, yo, I need the larger reach. I need the further impact so I could do more.
yeah,
Because like people are like, yo, you're killing it. You're here. You're on his podcast. You're doing this, and I'm like, yo, I still don't feel like I've done anything yet, or I'm not doing enough. And I
yeah,
know I'm capable of greater. Like I'm capable of so much more, and like I wanna die empty. I
yeah,
wanna give it. I wanna leave and be like, yo, did everything that I could do while I could do it, and I want to be able to walk off into the sunset after that, or you know what I'm saying, whatever however the story ends or whatever the end game is. I just want to be able to say that like I don't have no regrets. Like I don't want to wake up and be like, man, I should have did that. And I still feel like there's probably gonna be some things that I will get older and be like, man. But it is my hope that like I really start aggressively just walking in who I am and being as much of a servant, as much of a blessing to as many people as I can along the way, and like holding space for people to realize that they're dope too and that they can do great things.
For sure. For sure. That's dope. I like it. I like it. I
Word.
like it. Yeah, man. So, all right, as we sign off, man, I know you got a lot of stuff going on in the area, man. Like, where can people find out about what you got going on and
Oh man, that's a great
this
question.
great season that you're in?
It's a great question. Nah, I'm just playing. I said that like I didn't have an answer ready. Actually, you can follow me at now.
Yeah.
In all honesty, right now the focus is the open mic I do, which is Cypher Tuesdays. Cypher is an acronym for Create, Inspire, Purge, Hang Out, Express Yourself, and Rejuvenate. Been doing that since May 5th of 2015. So this May will be 8 years old.
Wow.
Super proud of that. Longest relationship I've ever been in. Taught me most about consistency and holding space for people, and made me a better host and all these things. Um, that's kind of like the launching pad for everything else that I do. But primarily, you can follow me on Instagram, also at Twitter. On Twitter at Q5TV. That's Q, the number 5TV. It's at the bottom of your screen right there. I'm lying. I don't know if they have graphics or whatever.
I guess you go put it.
But yeah, I'll put it right there. Q5TV. That's the Twitter and the Instagram. Everything that I do is in the bio on Instagram. But just in case you don't have access to either of those or one or the other, Q5TV. I also, like I said, host Cypher. Starting in February. I don't know when this is going to air, but starting in February of 2023, we're going to try to. I've been doing it once a month since the pandemic came back. Pre-pandemic, it was literally every Tuesday for 5.5 years, almost 6 years. But as a result of the pandemic, when we started coming back outside, I've been doing it once a month. But starting in February, I'm trying to go to twice a month, so it's going to be on the first and third Tuesdays, but it's going to be in 2 different locations. Like I want to try to have one on each side of, well, not even necessarily each side of the water, but just in like different cities. So February 7th, we're going to be in Portsmouth at the High on High Street, and on the 21st, whatever that third Tuesday is, we're going to be at the Juice Bar location on Northampton Boulevard. That's technically Virginia Beach. But you can follow to keep up with all that. It doesn't even matter when it is, but to keep up with all of that, you can follow us at Cypher, CIPHER _ Tuesdays. So again, that's CIPHER _ Tuesdays online. And then the last event that I do is a jam session once a month. And the gist of that is that, like, if you've ever been to the open mic, there's moments in between performers where I just let the band riff off and I kind of freestyle or sing or whatever. And sometimes I'll come out to the audience and pass the mic to somebody to sing or to freestyle as well. And basically, the jam session is a whole night of that, just trying to spontaneously create. But sometimes it turns into a little bit of karaoke as well because everybody can't necessarily freestyle or is not comfortable enough yet, and they're still trying to get the vibe. So sometimes they'll sing something that they know, but the catch is that the band is probably not gonna play it how you know the song. They're gonna remix it how they want to remix it. So you got to make it fit to what they're doing. But yeah, it's a whole night of that. And you can follow that page at Slow Jam X Burger Bar. 8020 BB, which is for 8020 Burger Bar. And that event is actually this Thursday night. Again, I don't know when this is going to air, but this Thursday night, January 26th. But, and I also host a community open mic at Down in Gross Cultural Arts Center in Newport News. I do that every second Tuesday of the month. It's free. It's a community, family-friendly open mic. And it's a good time. It's free and open to the public. So basically, I got you on lock for the first, second, and third Tuesdays of every month. So first and third Tuesdays is Cypher. Second Tuesdays is 25 mics are down in Gross, which is also in my bio. And then the last Thursday of every month will be the jam session moving forward. That's how we're trying to roll for 2023, having things already in place and knowing, you know what I'm saying? So first and third Cypher, second 25 mics, last Thursday of the month, the slow jam, which is the jam session. And is there anything else? I got a project on streaming services called 5x5 Volume 2. The Brooklyn Sessions. If you look up Q5 and you type in Brooklyn Sessions, it should come up. It's like a hand-drawn picture of my face with the Brooklyn Bridge in the background that the homie Andrew drew up for me. But that's on all streaming platforms. And I'm a host for hire. If you got open mics, wedding receptions. I don't know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? If I haven't done it before, I could still adjust and learn how to do it on the fly. And let's talk these prices.
So I hope you enjoyed that conversation on today's show. Before I sign off today, if you're a man out there, you feel stuck, you feel frustrated, you're trying to figure out how to get into that flow, how to find your life's purpose, live in your power, and live in your God-given position, and I want to invite you to Recreated Man as a community specifically for men. It's a safe space where we can learn, heal, and grow absolutely free. We have monthly check-ins, monthly challenges that we do just to keep each other accountable and help add value to our lives. I'll make sure I drop that link down in the description below. Until next time, keep learning, keep healing, and keep growing. Peace.